Recently, allegations have been making the rounds online against leftist content creator and attorney LolOverruled, who made his name on platforms like TikTok and by showing up on streams with Hasan Piker. The allegations range from being pushy about soliciting photos from women in DMs to threatening women that if he hurt them, he could get away with it because he has a lot of clout online, and generally people calling him a pest. Along with this, podcaster Ethan Klein weighed in and calling LolOverruled Hasan's best friend and token Jew, with Hasan also responding and condemning Lolo, saying he's already distanced himself from him. Lolo went private shortly before these allegations came out, along with putting out a lengthy statement in response denying certain parts of it, with his fellow friends and podcast co-hosts dropping him. Welcome to the internet versus LolOverruled. It starts when Yeet tweets out, LolOverruled is being called out by some in Hasan's community for allegedly being inappropriate to and about women. He had recently privated his Twitter, stating he's not ready to talk about it all yet, and currently in the midst of an intensive outpatient therapy program. And he attaches multiple screenshots, the first one being a tweet from LolOverruled, where he says, not ready to talk about it all yet, but there are things I want to talk about and have been mulling over how to even do it or if I should in public. I am, however, in the midst of an intensive outpatient therapy program, which is good. Don't know when I'll be back. And another tweet where someone named Katana Speaks says, the girls are saying LolOverruled is a sex pest and a serial abuser. White cis men are fucking trash. And where Katana continues quote tweeting most interesting man, a parody, where LolOverruled says on his alt account, I got to a point where I was fucking so many people from behind in bed, I had an out-of-body experience and I directly connected with Leonardo DiCaprio wearing his sound-canceling headphones as he bangs, and I finally understood. Perpetually alone, Peter Pan, never grow up. Fucking one of the hottest women you've ever seen in your life and feeling nothing. Have almost become a big enough person to let go of something a dickhead on here who some of you like and who I tolerate said to me 5 years ago. Pretty cool of me. And Katana quote tweets it saying, holy shit. Mutuals have begun blocking me over this. Sad to see people siding with the predator. Protecting abusers is more convenient than protecting survivors because our culture and fascism work together to ensure this. And Yeats attaches another tweet where someone named Jessica Starling replies, unfortunately, I have seen video evidence of him being a sex pest. He sent a video of himself J-O-ing in the bath to an SWR friend he was DMing on Twitter. And Katana replies, oh my god. And another post where Visions of Damsel says, where can I read more? He's locked his accounts, and if you go through tweets made to his handle, it seems like his followers keep replying to a tweet he made that's likely said he's going offline or off Twitter at the very least, and are all being sympathetic towards him. And Katana replies, I don't know where you can read about it, but I know it was shared through word of mouth, but I'm sure more people will be speaking publicly on this situation soon. People have started to cut him off for his problematic behavior towards women. I assume that's why he went private. Now Ethan Klein catches wind of this and screenshots someone quote tweeting Katana, where the quote tweet by someone named Carr says, I posted a picture in his merch and he sent me D pictures and asked for my STD results to make sure I'm clean enough. Fuck that dude. And Ethan responds, Hasan's best friend just got outed as a freak. Lolo. More like, uh-oh. Sorry, Hasan. You will need a new token Jewish sidekick to validate your hate. Now, apparently after this, Busted Open 420 actually deactivated their account. Yul tweets out, what happened to Carr's account? It's just gone? And Jezza says, wouldn't be surprised if people are being weird and harassing her for calling out to LolOverruled. And Yul replies, yeah, Ethan is. And the girl with the microphone says, Ethan harassed her? No. He shared her story in support. And Matt says, as a woman on the internet, you should know how irresponsible that is. Ethan definitely knows better because he and his wife have been the target of harassment. You're either being disingenuous or obtuse. In either case, you should be disappointed in that response. And that girl with the microphone says, hey Matt, I don't think you should be telling women to be disappointed or how to feel in general. But back to the statement by Ethan, Dragon Ball fan account posts this on the RH3HG Productions subreddit, and former bed replies, let's see Hasan's next move, ignoring this. And Raglar says, why should I care about some text taken out of context when there's a literal genocide going on? And Throwaway Slay says, he spent weeks ignoring the Kodiko stuff until he could no longer ignore it with the D'Angelo Wallace video. People were asking in chat about it for weeks and getting banned/timed out. He had been hanging out with Tana and was good friends with Noel Miller, but I guess those associations weren't enough justification to talk about it. Maybe Hasan thought the scandal would just go away. Hasan just goes wherever public opinion takes him and has no real convictions when it comes to sex pest men, except when it comes to Destiny. And Femuse replies, not even when it comes to Destiny. He just hates Destiny and it was lucky for him he was a shit guy. Scorpioniform says, I'm a self-described TikTok aficionado, and I've always had a bad feeling about LOL since day one of him taking off in popularity. It was confirmed to me when he partnered with Hasan. I do know he's been through some serious fucked up trauma, but that's not an excuse, just perhaps an explanation. And Status Safe replies, me too. I followed him after seeing a video or two, but got to some some weird vibes. Once I saw him BFF with Hasan, I just blocked him. I know Ethan isn't infallible, but I truly believe he may be the one man on the internet who I trust to not do some shit like this. Over on Hasan Piker, Harlot Muffin also posts the allegations posted by Katana with the caption, "Don't know if this has been posted here, but Lolo is facing some troubling allegations." Apparently, EK posted some of them to his IG story and is now claiming Hasan is guilty by proxy. I'm very sad. Jack Bauer replies, "Posting this, mentioning EK, and not linking to anything substantive in the way of accusations makes for a very low quality post, not different from shit stirring. And some of the comments are surprised shit has been stirred. Note that I'm not defending anyone nor making any assessment as to the truthfulness of the accusations. This post could have been made more responsibly, IMO." And Firm Perspective replies, "Agree." Shmuleka replies, "I would approach any accusations that Ethan is promoting with skepticism. If we get more independent corroborating info, then it should be cause for concern." And OP replies, "These people seem to all be actual leftists and no one affiliated with Ethan. I just think Ethan is using their experiences for his own sick motives." Generic Melon says, "Just a friendly reminder that he, Ethan Klein, and his ilk are desperate for Hasan's attention and that anything he posts should be taken with a grain of salt. Anyone can post anything on the internet and claim that it's true. If Lolo is a serial abuser, he should be held accountable." Fortune Fade says, "Don't know how any of this is problematic for Hasan. I've had friends accused of shitty things that I wouldn't have expected. It's not like people, generally speaking, are flippant, even with friends, about being a piece of shit. Not sure how Hasan is supposed to magically know about it." Then Twitter user Marina Dove XO quote tweets an old post she made a couple weeks back, saying, "This is about LolOverruled." And in the post she says, "A content creator threatened me, saying if they ever hurt me, I would be powerless because more people like them. And it would be so easy to call me a liar and ruin my life." They then attach another old post they made where they said, "A content creator in the middle of mutual flirting said I didn't respond with nudes fast enough, so they went to my OF instead, after making it a point that they didn't sub out of respect." And another post, "I know a content creator that about 6 other people I know have complaints about being a sexual creep to all of us." Honey says, "Blocked now because what the fuck?" And Marina replies, "And he's a scumbag who used vanish mode on IG, so all of those convos are gone." Sweetener Matcha says, "I believe it. He suddenly went dark on his Twitter saying he was in a bad spot mentally and was going to therapy. Now we know why." And Sock says, "Classic move. They claim mental health issues to try and farm sympathy and to distract from the harm they cause and claim they are working on their issues in therapy." Andrew from Channel 5 did the same shit and now he's making a comeback, of course. Then Yeats tweets out this clip with the caption, "Hasan strongly condemns LolOverruled while discussing Lolo's allegations."
Love on Twitter is drama. If it's related to Alex Lolo, then that's not drama. That's like straightforward creep shit. Okay, if that's what you guys are referencing as drama, you're a psycho. That's not drama at all. I mean, this dude apparently was all up and down being a fucking pest, and it's completely unacceptable. Yeah, and you guys are being fucking ridiculous if you think that this is just drama. That's not just drama, dude. It's incredibly disappointing. It's not something that I was obviously privy to. I was completely oblivious to whatever the fuck was going on, and it's a betrayal of my trust. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. Apparently, and I don't know the full details of what's going on, but I heard like bits and pieces about him potentially being abusive. I didn't know enough about what was going on, but it was enough for me to like sever ties. And then past that point, now there's apparently a bunch of people that he was literally in the DMs of all up and down Twitter, like leftist Twitter accounts, public defenders, even women in this community. Luckily, we have a pretty awesome community of adult women who can take care of themselves, but it seems like he was just sending unsolicited DMs and being creepy and pushy and a pest overall. Yeah, it's obviously completely unacceptable.
And Knight's Kitten replies, "Long-term friend thrown under the bus like it's nothing." And Burrito Boy says, "Why would he keep that guy around? Be for real, man." Atuka says, "Gotta keep it real. Credits to the guy for addressing it. I thought he was gonna ignore it." Lexa tweets out in response to Hasan's video, "I know this should be the minimum, but I'm so happy he addressed it like this." And Jude replies, "Yeah, I feel safer / Jin." Austin replies, "I am certain that Hasan has known that Lolo is a freak." Over on r/Hasan Piker, anonymous meatbag posts DMs with the title, "LolOverrulled's DMs are starting to leak," and yeah. And it's messages where Lolo says, "Got," and someone replies, "How's that?" And Lolo says, "Okay, I'd rather have you sitting on my D." And then later says, "Looking so fucking good. good. And the person says, don't message me again. And more messages where Lolo says, I have a partner by the way, but we're open, if that's okay with you. And the person replies, well, seeing as I'm all the way in New Zealand. And Lolo replies, lol, got any pics for me? Lol. And the girl says, oh hey, there's a bunch on my page. And Lolo says, lol. Classic Alvin replies, lol. Immaculate game. And Time Cardiologist says, it hurts to see as a millennial. Lol. And Beneficial Action replies, I feel like this was the kind of shit that I would see teenage boys doing. It's extra gross seeing an adult harass people in this awkward and nonchalant way. The Mr. Boot says, why are guys like this just so fucking cringe on top of everything else? It's like they never grew past being 12. And Danny Dragon Queen says, I don't understand the pestering of women for nudes. Like, just go look at the copious amounts of already available porn if you want to see a boob so badly, for fuck's sake. And Nissa R replies, it's never always just about sex, it's also about power. They get high from the ability to get sensitive material from women and then use said materials to exploit them farther. Back over on Twitter, Can't Ever Die tweets out this statement with the caption, on LolOverruled. And it says, people have begun to discuss things LolOverruled/Alex, my former co-host on WK, is alleged to have done. We believe them. Prior to all of this, a few women unrelated to the discussions we've seen online, but who were nonetheless impacted by his actions, reached out to us about their experiences. After those conversations, we immediately parted ways with him. We didn't initially say anything when this started in order to preserve the anonymity and safety of those who came to us, as they have plans to tell their stories on their own terms. But in light of everything, we're sharing this with their permission. We stand with everybody who's told their story and those who came forward to us. That they reached out to begin with is brave and an important part of keeping our spaces safe for everyone. In discussing this, we hope you all keep those impacted front and center. We also ask to not let your affinity for any specific creator or political leaning impact your willingness to listen to those who have spoken up. June, Alex Goldman, and Caleb. Soups replies, weird how Onion Person keeps being surrounded with these people. And your friend Thank You says, so does this just happen yearly with you guys or what? And Jeff replies, this is definitely the blue sky energy we need more of here on Twitter left circles. Incredibly disingenuous for groups of internet friends to know the depths of each other's depravity and be responsible for it. They kick people out when they find out they suck. Good. Then Dexerdonox tweets out, TikToker LolOverruled has posted and deleted an apology for his behavior online with women. He apologizes for sliding into DMs and denies sending threats or unsolicited photos. And in this screenshotted statement, he says, this is not my full apology and it isn't meant to be. I still need some time to figure out how to do that and what that looks like. There's a lot being said about my behavior. I am absolutely embarrassed and ashamed of myself in many instances and have been a real asshole. I don't deny that at all. I know many people are disappointed and I am disappointed in myself. I have hurt people emotionally and regret it immensely. I do want to clarify some things. Yes, I have slid into a lot of people's DMs. I think I didn't really think of it as a huge deal, but it's clear I did not fully grasp how some people could feel about that or even think I was some kind of famous person, which I have never honestly felt about myself and always felt like a random internet side character. No, I did not send photos unsolicited. It may have been the case in some instances that I genuinely misread the conversation we were having, but no, I didn't just randomly send something. No, I have not threatened anyone. I saw something to that effect being said. I do believe that some of what's being said is genuinely libel and defamation. I am not, however, interested in arguing with people or suing or anything like that. It's also entirely possible there were miscommunications and conversations misread, but I take full responsibility for making people uncomfortable. Again, this is not meant to be an exhaustive apology. It really isn't. I'm sorry to the people I've made uncomfortable or hurt emotionally. I know it doesn't matter to some of you now, but I am glad this stuff is being talked about in a way. It is forcing me to actually look at myself hard in the mirror and do something about it. I'm going to be pretty offline for a bit / doing an intensive outpatient program. I don't know what will happen next. I may never come back to the internet in the same capacity again. I don't know. I want to do better, and I genuinely want to make amends to the people I've negatively impacted. I hope some people will give me the opportunity to do that. I do not expect it at all, but I am always available to listen and talk if anyone wants that. I don't want to be a piece of shit guy. I have been. I think the way I have acted has not been in line with my character and does not reflect the kind of man I want to be. I am seeking help to better myself. I'm sorry it took so long. Accountability is a weird thing. You really can only take accountability for yourself. If you want to pretend something isn't a problem, you can try and weather any storm that comes and pretend it isn't real. I don't want it to be that way. In the very least, I would like to show what accountability can look like. Really cannot express how sorry I am at all. And Dexerdonox continues their post saying, a follow-up explanation of the apology deletion was posted and deleted. And it's Lolo saying, okay, clearly I need to apologize to people and don't know exactly how to do it. I am sorry for being an asshole. I will say more later. Logging off. Alan West replies, the defamation mention is what really stuck out to me. Even saying I'm not suing still puts the idea out there that some of what's being said is false. It undermines people without having to name them. him. If you're serious about owning your actions, you don't do that. And Air King says, but if there are false accusations among real ones, what else should he say to point those out? And Marx's Catgirl says, not say it in an apology post about the very real horrible things he did, which overshadows the actual apology. And Air King says, I'm sorry, but that doesn't seem right. Do you want him to make 2 posts about the topic instead of addressing it all at once? Won't that just garner the same criticism of trying to shoot down legitimate accusations? And 2 separate posts could get different levels of traction. And Marxist says, who gives a fuck? I think someone supposedly lying about him doesn't meet the same level of severity as being a creep S-pest with lots of reliable allegations. He's not exactly a trustworthy enough guy to be making vague counter-accusations. In a separate post now, Mango tweets out, this tweet is from October 2024, but I remember screenshotting it because it was so fucking gross. Honestly, the stuff coming out against LolOverruled should not be surprising to me, but it's incredibly disappointing. And it's a post he made where he says, running on opening the border to let in as many thick Latinas as possible. And Mike says, honestly, anytime a guy does the whole stop ICE from taking away big booty Latinas thing, it should be considered a huge red flag. And Mango says, it is. And it's something I've even personally dealt with men saying to me. It's never not felt gross. That's why when I saw him say this, I was taken aback because I used to be a fan. Shout out to our tier 3 members, internet representatives Kiko, Salsao, Coldest Bandito, and Captain Crash Out. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I'll see you all in the next episode.